The core verse here, I just honed in on, unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains just a grain of wheat. But if it dies, it produces much fruit. Whoever loves his life loses it, and whoever hates his life in this world will preserve it for eternal life. Now, Jesus, of course, is that grain. And falling into the ground and dying is his crucifixion. And bearing much fruit is the salvation of the world. The reason that we're even here today is because Jesus gave his life for us. He fell into the ground in death for us. And then he adds another little, one of his paradoxes. If you hate your life in this world, you will gain it for eternal life. And of course, he's not speaking about the genuine, honest love that we must respect our body, our whole life with, that God himself expects from us, in the same kind of love that we would give to another child of God. He's not speaking about that kind of loving of our lives, if you will. He's speaking about a love that's a disordered kind of thing, where we preserve ourselves, we turn inward, we are self-centered, and we carve out our own little turf and our life on our own. He's talking about that kind of distorted love, which manifests itself in the fruits of the flesh in various degrees. The joy the Lord desires for us is found in surrender. In surrender. And today, this gospel calls us and is calling us that we must be willing to fall into the earth and die to bear much fruit. Let us not be afraid of losing our lives. Let us not be afraid of giving ourselves fully to Jesus. What are we going to lose if we do that? Some bad habits? Some fruits of the flesh? Selfishness? Anxiety, maybe? What are we going to gain if we do that? A whole new way of looking at life through the eyes of Jesus. His love, his gift. Ignatius of Antioch, one of the great patristic fathers, suffered a martyr's death, and he gave us an example. And he cried out as he died, "I am God's grain. I am God's grain." Alluding, of course, to this very passage that we read in our gospel today. So we can hold on to our lives. We can carve out our place, if you will. Something like the guy in the parable of the talents. I say, don't be that guy, The one that was given one, he just held on to it out of fear and insecurity. He buried it. Didn't do anything with it. He didn't become fruitful or productive. We can hold on to our lives, or we can let go and surrender to the adventure and the joy of following Jesus with our whole hearts. Why? So that we may become God's grain for the life of the world